thought it'd be fun to do a video where I'm going to show you and walk you through setting up Google Tag Manager with Google Analytics 4 and just walk you through the process of doing it. And maybe you might pick up a few things here and I don't know, might be just fun. Okay, so here we are. Let me just go into my screen. There we go. Alright, so here I am in Google Tag Manager, right? And normally the first thing that you want to do in an account like this is to set up a few variables so that the platform actually records data and triggers on the site. So the site has already been installed on, it's a WordPress site. It's already been installed. So we have Google Tag Manager here, bottom here. That's good, right? Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is to go into variables, and right now there are a few variables. So variables are basically commonly used for tag and trigger configurations, right? So what we're going to do is going to click on some new variables, configure these variables, and make sure that we also set up some pre-built variables like the click tracking and all that. So I want to also be able to track like click elements, classes, ID, target, URL, click tag. So whenever someone clicks or I click on the site, Google Tag Manager just sends back this data to my container here so that I can actually view this sort of like elements. So we can also turn on perform elements if you want to, if you're tracking videos and more, we can do that. Other than that, I usually just turn on the click tracking and then test it on and keep it simple, right? Scrolling, I want that as well. I'm going to leave videos out of this because I'm not tracking any videos on the page at this moment. So that's good. Alright, so we have a few things here right now. Now, I'm going to go back to triggers and I'm going to create two kind of triggers right now for a new account, all clicks and also all links. So whenever someone clicks on any link at all, it will record. When someone does any clicks at all, it would also record. So I'm going to go and click, call this all clicks. So everything that is clicked, I would want to measure that. So all clicks, I'm going to save this. Okay, new, all links. So it's been some time since I've done this, but let me just see if I can find my way through. Save here. There we go. Okay, tags. Okay, so I'm just going to get the Google Analytics tag for this account. So I'm just going to go into my Google Analytics. Yeah, analytics.google.com. Let's see what's up. Okay, I'm going to go to my account here. Okay, so I'm in the right account right now. I'm just going to go down here and go to admin and make sure I get the right tag code here. So I'm going to here, measurement ID. There you go. Okay, I'm going to leave this open, go back to Google Tag Manager and install that. So what I want to do is I want to create a tag, right, that launches the analytics tracking code whenever whenever a trigger fires. So whenever a page loads, then I want to trigger this. Okay, so I'm going to call this the GA4 tag, right? Tag configuration wise, I'm going to choose Google Analytics and then load the tag. So this one, tag ID would be, let me just check this, tag ID, measurement ID, okay, tag ID, this, okay, and then the trigger is all pages. So whenever a page loads on the site, this tag would trigger. That's what I want, right? Okay, triggering. Okay, so this is good, right? So GA4 tag, and it fires, it basically loads whenever when the page initiates, and this is for all pages. I'm going to click on, go back to my overview. I'm going to submit this and do a quick test to see if this is working or not. Okay, so I'm going to call this loaded GA4, hit on publish. Okay, so this is done. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go test it, right? So go back to workspace, and basically there should be a preview button here. Okay, now this is shows no recent data because I've just fixed this one, so hopefully it's still working. I'm going to click on preview, right? And this will launch the Google Tag Assistant. And we're going to put in the new site here. So the site is brp.com.my. There we go. Pushing this, connect. Great. Okay, so it loads the site, and now we're going to go back to Tag Assistant to see if what we want is fired. So can we see that GA4 tag is fired one time, right? And if you click on this, we can see the reason why it's fired as well. The firing triggers is basically initialization, all pages. Great, this is done, right? And the tag ID is this. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my analytics and check if this is actually recording the right data. So I'm going to go back to analytics, and go back to home. Okay, report. And we're going to use the real-time report. So the only way to see if this is working is to use a real-time report, because the reports within Google Analytics is not real-time. It's not instant. It takes a few hours. All right, so we can see that we have a visit here, BRP e-commerce intelligence. First visit, page view, session start. And I'm just going to quickly look at where this person is from to see if it's me. Where is Malaysia? Where is Malaysia? There we go. Let me just zoom in, see if you can see a blip right there. I don't see it. I don't see it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simulate going around the site. Maybe I'm going to go to About Us and just take a look at the real time to see if there's any jump in the numbers here. Alright, so this is the home page. You can see that this one page title is home page. Oh, there's one user. And there we go. I am in KL, right? So boom, this should be me. I'm in PJ specifically, not in KL. And yeah, it's working, right? So we know that now we have installed Google Tag Manager. We have loaded up the tag and also the variables and the triggers. We've loaded up GA4 and now it's loading. So that's great, right? Once we're happy with that, we basically just close this preview and create additional event tags. So for example, you want to track a few things, right? So if you go to the site right here and just click around. I'm going to click a few times here, who we are. You can see that we are also recording up clicks right here, right? This is pretty interesting, right? And from this click, we can also see, what is the variables within this click. So just now I was clicking on the word, who we are. And who we are shows up here. I'm going to zoom in so you can see this. Click text, who we are. So let's just say you want to create something to fire, a tag to fire when someone clicks on that text. You can, right? So let's just say, let me just quickly see if I can do something here to track. All right. So maybe I want to track when someone clicks on request for demo. All right. So I click on that. I'm going to go back to my Tag Assistant, go all the way up here and look at this link click here. When someone click on request for demo, maybe I want to track that as an event hit, right? So how do I track that using Google Tag Manager? So let's just say I want to track when someone click on click text is request for demo and click URL is brp.com.my/contact. So I want to track one event hit whenever someone clicks on that button. So here's how I'm going to set this up. I'm going to go back to Google Tag Manager, tag. Okay, so I'm going to create a new tag, all right? And I'm going to call this GA4 event, right? So one trick to using tags within Google Tag Manager is to keep it very organized, as in you label things correctly and put them into correct folders, because over time when you create a lot of tags, it can get really, really messy and this becomes a nightmare to work with. So what is this again? Let me see. Request for demo. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and say when they event click. All right, request demo. Okay, so tag configuration would be Google Analytics, right? And it's going to be a Google for event. Okay, so the measurement ID, we don't have a variable. All right, so here's the thing, right? So when we do it this way, we would have to constantly put in the measurement ID from analytics. But what I can do is I can actually create a variable made out of that ID here, and every time I want to choose a variable, I just choose a variable from here. So I'm going to go back to variables. Okay, let me just discard that. I'll do that again. Variables, and I'm going to create a Google for GA4, Google Analytics 4 variable that I can always use in my triggers and tags. So I'm going to click on new, right? Let me call this GA4 tag. And I'm going to call this a, can I do column? Yeah, I can, I think. Okay, variable. Okay, so the variable would be a Google tag. Okay, Google tag settings, and I'm going to use the tracking ID, right? I'm going to come back to Google Analytics, admin, data streams, okay, I'm going to click on this measurement ID, put inside here. Okay, more settings, leave this over. I'm going to click on save. Oh, this is UA one. Okay, let me just change that, find the right one. No. Google Analytics 4 settings. How to find a tracking ID? Alright, so this is the UA. UA is the Universal Analytics option. So I'm not sure how they do this for the GA4 one. So let me just quickly go this GA4 variable in GTM. Right? Analytics Mania is a great place to learn about GA4. Right? So Google tag. Use this variable, create a constant variable. It's a good practice. Okay, I'm going to allow all. Yeah, okay, so constant variable, go to variables, new variables, constant, and paste a measurement ID there, save the variable. Yeah, okay, so it's constant variable. Okay. So Google Tag Manager can be quite confusing at times, and you want to actually look at guides like this. So Analytics Mania is a great place to really go deep into GA4. So variables, new, variable configuration constant, and paste your measurement ID there. So variables, new. Let me go into variables and new. Okay, I'm going to go variables, new, right? Okay, I'm going to call this do this again. So GA4 tag. I'm going to call this a variable. Okay, and then we're going to choose, where's this? Let me search for it, constant. Alright. And just check this is right. Paste a measurement ID. Yeah, right. Okay, cool. I'm going to get the measurement ID and paste it in there. That's it, right? Okay, cool. Yep. Save this. Okay, so now we have a variable. So coming back to our tags, we're going to create a tag. So let me just repeat what we're trying to achieve here. What we're trying to achieve here is to basically create an event, right? That we want to send an event back from the website when someone clicks on request or demo from anywhere on the website. So we have noticed that when they click on this link, it shows in the variable request for demo, and click URL would be brp.com.my/contact. All right, let's make it simple. Okay, we're going to create a new tag, and we'll call this GA4 event. It's going to be click, and it's going to be request demo. Right, we're going to measure how many people actually click that request demo button on top. So tag configuration, I'm going to go for GA4 event measurement ID. Okay, so instead of typing in our measurement ID from analytics all the time again and again, well, you can if you want. We can actually use a variable right now. So I'm going to click on that variable button and choose GA4 tag variable. Boom, right? So every time you have it there, you don't have to actually reuse, you know, tags again and again. And Google Tag is found in this container. Great. Okay, so what's the event name, right? So the event name is like, let's call this click or request demo. Okay, request demo. And importantly, you also want to set some parameters if possible, so that you can also track like which URL is that click on. So I'm going to click on this one, and I'm going to use like a page URL. Okay, I'm going to call this page. So use a page URL, and the value would be, it would actually show the actual page, the current page URL is on, right, where this click happened. Okay, so request demo. Call this click request demo. Okay, so when does this trigger? Now this is the important part, right? So we want to know when this event will be sent, right? When would it be sent? Because we want to look at, you know, how it's being triggered. So I'm going to go into trigger, and then I can't use all clicks, because if I use all clicks, whenever someone clicks on anything, that tag will be triggered, right? So I'm going to click on this little plus buttons here, and I'm going to create a new trigger. So I'm going to call this a trigger, and this trigger would be click request demo. Okay, all right, let's start creating it. So we're going to choose click, right? And instead of all clicks, some clicks. And let's refer back to what we see here. So inside here, we see the click text is request for demo, right? I want to make sure that the click text equals request for demo. All right, and at the same time, we can also add another filter whereby the click URL equates to this or contains that one. All right, so let's say the click URL contains brp.com. We don't need the HTTP in this case. brp.com.my/contact. Okay, so again, once we've done this, we would have to save it. Okay, and very importantly, we would have to test it. So I'm going to click on save, right, and submit. So again, I will add a new version. Set up click tracking for request demo, just to be neat. So sometimes you have a few developers or few marketers working on the same thing. What normally happens is people start, you know, publishing tags and their containers, and they do not know what version is this, you know, what's the changes made and all that. So you want to put in, you know, actual version changes so people actually know, right? I've gone into some projects where the tag manager has not been touched for years, months, and then I don't know what happened in the last changes, right? Because and I'll spend like hours digging into the tags just to find out what's working and what's not working. Okay, so once this is done, oh, it seems like we have issue. Some of pages not tagged. Let's see which pages are not tagged. Yeah, there's a few pages probably not tagged. Login pages probably is not covered under the code insertion on WordPress, but well, we'll check that later on. Okay, I'm going to come back to my tag assistant here, and basically let me see if I can refresh this. Now I'm not sure if I have to refresh this, but I think we do. So I'm going to click on close, stop debugging, and then I'm going to click again to start debugging again, right? So it loads up the site again, and now I'm going to simulate a click on request for demo to see if it's recording whatever that I'm set up, you know, correctly. Okay, so sorry, I went to the wrong page. Oops. Okay. Wrong site. So sorry for that. Okay, at domain brp.com.my. Boom. Okay. Gonna connect that. It's gonna load up the site. Okay. now we are connected, and as we can see, GA4 tag is fired already because, and the reason it's fired is because we had initialization all pages. So that's done. But one tag is not fired, which is the one we have created, right? GA4 event click request demo is not launched yet. So I'm going to go to this page here and just simulate by clicking on that. Here we go. So link click. Okay, it's not fired yet. Something is wrong. So we have to fix this and see why it's not fired. Okay, let me just check. Nope, it's not fired. Okay, so let me just click on this one. Event equals GTM click. Alright, so we have to fix this one. Click text equals click, and event equals GTM click. Okay, so let me just check. Okay, click text, click URL. It should fire actually. Firing triggers, event equals GTM click. Okay, click URL contains. Okay, click URL contains BRP contact. Okay, what does it contain then? Let me see. Okay, I think that's, click this one. Let me just test again. Okay, somehow it's not recording the, okay, so the click here is not recording in the text. So the click text is only request for demo, right? The click link is somehow not recorded here, but it's recorded in the next click, and therefore it's recorded wrongly. So this is a link click. So we might want to actually do a different trigger in this sense, if that makes sense. So let me go and fix this. So I'm going to go back to text, right? And now I have a choice here. So one choice is to basically just create or use the click here without the click URL. That's the simplest way, right? So whenever someone clicks on the text that says request for demo, then the tag would launch, right? I think we can do that because there's no other request for demo around the site. Or the second way of doing it is basically to, instead of tracking via so my trigger right now, right, is a click tracking, right? But we can also change it to a link click, right? So basically from trigger, right now it's basically click. We're tracking clicks, right? We can always change this to links as well. So we're tracking links instead of clicks, right? So let's just say I want to keep it simple. So I'm going to remove the click URL. So whenever someone clicks on something on a text that has request for demo in caps, then we're going to count that as a trigger that would trigger this tag. Now it should work. Let me just submit. And let's just see if this works without me refreshing the assistant here. Okay, I'm going to go back here, give this page a refresh. Okay, and I'm going to go and click on this. Boop. Okay, so let's see. Alright, now it's fired. You can see for event click request demo is fired. Unknown tag type succeeded, right? And it succeeded because we have, you know, with the triggers actually, it's perfect, right? So it's equals request for demo, event is click, right? So now an event should be sent to our GA4. So let me just go to GA4 here, go back to our real time. Again, the reports will come in a few hours later. Usually it's not real time, so we have to go to the real time report to see if we are able to look at, see that tag coming in, the event coming in here, right? Okay, and I see it. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in and you can see click request demo. This is the one that I created within Google Tag Manager, right? So if you go to Google Tag Manager, just to refresh your memory, if you have forgotten with all this jumble of technical sense here, let me just take a look. Let's go back to sorry, wrong account, BRP, that's right. Okay, so within text right now, you can see, right, that we created an event name called click request underscore demo, and within analytics now we can see click request underscore demo. I'm going to click on this one to see if you can see any information around here. Just zoom out a little bit. Okay. There we go. Okay, so right now we are able to record this. We can see click request demo, batch ordering ID, debug mode, and all this information here. We can also see the page URL that we have actually set inside earlier. If we click on page URL, we can see, oh, it's on the home page. So sometimes what happens then is that, what if someone goes to, let's say, key features page, not the home page, and this person clicks on request for demo, right? So we're going to go back here and see if we can track that. Click. There we go. This also fires, right? And right now, we can then go back to analytics and see the new event tracking. All right, let me just go back here. Okay, now we have 2 hits of click request demo, right? And if you click on this one, go into the page URL, we can see now we have 2 page URL. One would be the home page, and one would be /key features. So that's how you basically track clicks around your website, by setting up event triggers. And of course, within Google Analytics, after a few hours, you'll be able to see the events showing up on the reports, and then from there you can create all sorts of like different events. So like, for example, if this event is a conversion that you want to track on your site, you can turn that as a conversion, and that becomes part of like a conversion within Google Analytics. So I hope this was helpful in this setting up this little Google Analytics with GA4. I know it's a bit geeky, but let me know what you think of this little setup that we have today. If it's useful, I will continue running sessions like this, showing you behind the scenes of some of the work we do in marketing. Not just technical, but sometimes when it comes to building like landing pages, when it comes to writing ads, when it comes to launching a few things, you might find a few nuggets here and there. Plan to do like short sessions, half an hour at the most, and yeah, let me know in the comment section, and we'll be back for more.